This is our POC presentation. We are the bio/nature versus nurture/physical/cognitive development. We are Elise, Alexander, Kirill, Maddie, and Leilani. And this is our mission statement, which is that nature or genetics is given to a person and is extremely difficult to mold. However, certain aspects of a child's environment can easily be molded and can heavily impact a child as they grow up.
First, we need to define what is nature versus nurture. Nature versus nurture is a long-standing debate on whether environment or genetics have a greater impact on a person's behavior and development. Nature more specifically focuses on genetics and inherited factors, while nurture focuses on environment and how the world influences us, for example, upbringing and social influences.
Next is epigenetics. Epigenetics is the change in how our genes are read due to our behaviors and environment. And there are 3 types of epigenetics. The first is DNA methylation, the second is histone modification, and the third is non-coding RNA. These 3 different types of epigenetics can determine whether a gene is turned on or off and can change as we age. Our behaviors and environment can contribute to this change by either adding more changes or reversing old ones. For example, smoking. Smokers can have decreased DNA methylation on their AHRR gene compared to a non-smoker. The effects that smoking have on the epigenetics of an individual can be reversed depending on how long and heavily they have smoked. Nurture is important because it is the behavioral and environmental aspect of epigenetics. Through the lens of epigenetics, the nurture of an individual can affect their nature.
So the theorist that we chose to research is John Piaget. He created a cognitive development theory for children. These cognitive development theories include 4 stages of development. From birth to 2 years of age, there's a sensory motor stage. From 2 years to 7 years, there's pre-operational stage. From 7 to 11 years, there's the concrete operational stage. And from 12 and above, there's the formal operational stage. And as children grow up and develop, they gain a better understanding of concepts and the knowledge that they acquire. Children's understandings and knowledge comes from the nature and nurture aspects of their lives.
Starting with the first stage of Piaget's theory is the sensory motor stage of development. The sensory motor stage is where the child experiences the world through physical touch through the ages of infancy to 2 years of age. There was a longitudinal study by occupational therapists that provided evidence that playfulness at the ages of 6 months, 8 months, and 24 months coincides with cognitive development. This study relates to Piaget's theory because the more that they were playful at the ages of 6 months, the higher the cognitive functioning is at the age of 8 months. And at the age of 24 months, the more playful they were. And playfulness promotes cognitive skills and development.
During the sensory motor and pre-operational development stages, according to Piaget, children learn and develop through observation and exploration of their environment, and screen time sometimes interferes with these opportunities. A child's environment plays an important role in their overall development. Excessive screen time among young children is associated with high chances of displacing parent-child interactions, which is fundamental to a thriving child's process of learning and development. And since these parent-child interactions are fundamental to the cognitive development of children under 5 years of age, achieving health for all means doing what is best for health right from the beginning of people's lives, says WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. Early childhood is a period of rapid development and a time when family lifestyle patterns can be adapted to boost health gains. Parents may feel that the presence of a screen during daily routines, such as feeding and bath time, may assist in the swift completion of routines. This, however, interferes with the essential socio-emotional skills building process, which occurs naturally between a parent and a child. So, is screen time helpful or harmful? Unstructured playtime is more valuable for the developing brain than any electronic media exposure. If a parent is not able to actively play with the child, that child should have solo playtime with an adult nearby to allow them to think creatively, problem solve, and accomplish tasks. And young children with frequent television exposure showed developmental delay within 3 different domains including cognitive, language, and motor skill development.
In the preoperational stage of Piaget's theory, children in early childhood undergo rapid language development and think symbolically, not yet understanding logic. By middle childhood, children can begin understanding abstract ideas and using logic. However, a study researching 10-year-old children with a history of NAS revealed that neurodevelopmental disorders and abnormalities caused by NAS affect a child's progress in the preoperational stage. Based on the research, neurodevelopmental orders like language delays and abnormalities like cognitive development caused by NAS inhibit a child's progression through this stage of comprehending and using logic. The result of this inhibition can cause difficulty in understanding and completing schoolwork. The solution of this dilemma is special education with an individualized education plan and support. Special education is an appropriate solution as its goals include aiding children with intellectual, physical, emotional, and social development. Support from friends, families, peers, and educators encourages perseverance and confidence to continue learning. With special education and support, children with an inhibition caused by NAS can slowly help with progression through the preoperational stage.
Next, we are going to go into the concrete operational stage of Piaget's theory. So the concrete operational stage is when children start to solve problems using logic and other knowledge that they have. And there's this one experiment that was done where they were trying to figure out if physical activity between homework would help boost future cognitive development in children. The experiment was where the two groups of middle schoolers that exercised between doing homework for 3 weeks. And it started with the middle schoolers taking a pre-test, then doing 15 minutes of math problems, then jump roping for 3 times 1 minute each, and then taking a pre-test and a retention test in 2 weeks. And the results show that physical activity does indeed help with cognitive growth. And this connects to Piaget's concrete operational stage because the children have to solve math problems using what they know and logic, such as like inverse operations like addition and subtraction.
So my research explores more on how low-income mothers impact and their perception of their child's obesity. The researcher conducted interviews with mothers to understand their perspectives on their child's weight, status, and factors they believe contributed to it. The findings revealed several key themes. Firstly, mothers acknowledged their children's weight as a concern and expressed a desire to address it. However, they face various challenges in doing so. The main factors that the article focuses are nature versus nurture, relieving immediate stress versus preventing long-term consequences, and medical authority versus lived experience. When it comes to nature versus nurture, mothers understand that genetics, aka nature, does play a part in the child's obesity, but environment and how the mother feeds the child will also have a huge impact on the child's weight. Another factor is relieving immediate stress versus preventing long-term consequences. Many mothers, especially in low-income environments, struggle with finding the right resources for healthy eating, which can make it difficult to provide a full balanced meal. Another factor is that mothers are busy and will choose to let a child eat more unhealthy food because it may be quicker and less stressful than cooking a home-cooked meal. Lastly, many mothers also struggle with understanding when their child is hungry. Because of this worry, their mothers will tend to overfeed a child because they don't want them to be hungry. The last factor is medical authority versus lived experience. Mothers will have mixed advice from medical authorities and family members. This can be difficult for mothers to choose what advice to follow. Medical authorities have professional knowledge, while family and friends will have experiences that they use when they help them raise their own child. Overall, these environmental factors show the importance of balancing these factors to promote healthy behaviors. Lastly, the study highlighted the role of social support in addressing childhood obesity. Mothers expressed a need for guidance, education, and practical strategies for healthcare professionals and community programs. Overall, the research sheds a light on the complex perception and challenges from the environment that many low-income mothers face in navigating their children's weight status, underscoring the significance of tailored support and resources in promoting healthy behaviors. This research connects to Piaget because the children that were focused in this research were from the ages of 2 to 11. Because it's focused on multiple stages, we would see that in the younger children, in the sensory motor and pre-operational stage, children don't understand the consequences of eating too much and seek more immediate gratification. This is because these children may not fully grasp the cause and effect of relationships between their actions and their healthy outcome. And they might not be able to have delayed gratification or make long-term plans. For those that are older in the concrete operational stage, they understand the consequences of their actions and have a better understanding of the need for healthy eating and preventing obesity, which can make them be more receptive to educational messages and nutrition and physical activity, and may be able to apply these knowledge into their daily lives. This shows the importance for a mother to help regulate and teach their children healthy eating.
What can we learn from nature versus nurture? Even though nature is not in our control, environment can have a huge impact on how a person is raised. Our environment is something we can have control of and can actively shape and modify, as shown in the previous articles we discussed. Thus, we can use this in our future jobs to make us more empathetic and understanding towards others.
Me and Maddie are planning on becoming nurses in the future, and some of the ways we can use nature versus nurture in our job is being more understanding and empathetic to our patients and help provide guidance to parents for how to help child through their developmental stages.
Other ways that we can help in our future careers as nurses is to help teach parents about their child's development and understanding parents' perspective about how the child's upbringing is impacting the child's health.
I plan on going into occupational therapy, and occupational therapists play a huge role in cognitive development throughout all the ages, not just infants and children, with the help of many physical activities. Another way I can help provide playfulness in working within this range, or anybody in any workforce can help.
For my career path, I chose nurse anesthetist, and using the research I've learned, I can adapt to an individual's needs, helping to make them feel more comfortable in the setting or environment that they're in. By feeling more comfortable, the individual may voice more of their needs, aiding me to be a better advocate for them, as well as I can be empathetic and provide emotional support.
So lastly, I plan on pursuing a career in math. And since the experiment had the students do math problems and jump roping, that's one way it connects to my career. Another way is that it taught me how to be more empathetic towards my coworkers if they need to take breaks in between doing work.
Thank you all for listening and listening to our presentation.